Coming up, 3 Confederate prisoners become the foster parents of a baby they find in the desert, the Godchild. And Monday, murder clues lead undercover agent Dick Powell to Jane Greer's gambling den, Station West. TNT raids the joint. Monday.
She wants you to represent her husband. Say yes.
No, I don't know what it's all about.
Well, pretend you do and say yes.
Hello?
If I was a single practitioner in a small town, a town like Thunder Bay, and someone came to me with the most notorious case in town, I would definitely accept it.
And you didn't see Quill rape and beat your wife?
No. No, when she got back to the trailer, she told me what had happened.
And then how long was it before you went over to Quill's and killed him?
I don't know exactly, maybe an hour.
You had the Army hero, Ben Gazzara, a man with a propensity to violence, a man who had murdered, albeit for his nation in the Korean War. You had Lee Remick, his wife, the violated woman, the victim of rape, the source and cause of the murder, the admitted murder that took place.
How were you dressed that night?
Oh, in a sweater like this and a skirt.
And the rest, what about that?
Underneath, I had on a slip and panties and a bra.
No girdle?
I don't need a girdle.
But Lee Remick, not in the mold of the classic heroine, not the woman that you would expect a man to rise up in anger to protect, but rather, and I know this isn't politically correct to say, a woman who was deliciously slutty.
Well, would you like to have something to worry about?
Silly.
Like your husband watching us from his cell window?
A woman who couldn't even keep her hands or her bosoms out of the face of Jimmy Stewart, for God's sakes.
What's the way you look at me?
Well, it'd be very difficult not to look at you.
Oh, the way I dress, you mean? You don't like it?
Oh, I love it. I just love it.
For that woman to come into your office and ask your help and suggest all manner of compensation, I think it would take a much stronger man even than Jimmy Stewart to say no.
Now, until this trial's over, you're going to be a meek little housewife with horn-rimmed spectacles. And you're going to stay away from men and juke joints and booze and pinball machines. And you're going to wear a skirt and low-heeled shoes, and you're going to wear a girdle. And especially a girdle.
The Lee Remick who came to court as the witness for her accused husband was not the Lee Remick that we saw outside the court. Jimmy Stewart did a great job in making her appear a victim, making her appear the stereotype of the victim, not having the jury have to stretch by saying, oh, that woman who probably could be in a Playboy centerfold was raped.
You always wear panties?
No.
On what occasions don't you wear them? When you go out alone at night?
No, objection.
Does she wear panties or doesn't she wear panties? Can you imagine just how shocking that must have been back in 1959?
They're white, they have lace up the side, and they're badly torn, as if they'd been ripped apart by powerful hands.
You had panties out in the open, you had a frank discussion of rape, you talked about penetration and orgasm and semen. The titillation factor at least equaled Palm Beach, although no Kennedy was involved.
How long had you known your wife was running around with Barney Quill?
I never knew anything like that. I trust my wife.
I think that the marriage of Ben Gazzara and Lee Remick, as portrayed in the film, is almost a fatal attraction. It's two bombs in the same box with a short fuse. Their marriage is based on a foundation of quicksand and dynamite. It is inevitable that passion and violence will follow them to their dying day.
Did Lieutenant Manning say anything else?
Yes, sir. He said when he got out, the first thing he was going to do was to kick that bitch from here to Kingdom Come.
To whom was he referring?
To his wife.
Liar! You're a lousy, freaking liar!
No wonder they banned this film in Chicago.
See TNT's 3-movie tribute to Lee Remick, beginning with Anatomy of a Murder, Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT.
But it's time for a bunch of those Hollywood knows on TNT. Get them while they're hot. Those knows. Yeah!
he is the son of a very famous person who is laboring in the shadow of that famous person and having a difficulty in carving out his own niche. And it's something I can relate to, and I certainly understand.
Yeah. Tomorrow morning, I get them a new attorney.
Why are you so afraid to be a lawyer? Were Daddy's expectations really that high?
The new film, A Few Good Men, directed by Rob Reiner and starring Tom Cruise and Demi Moore as military attorneys, is all about expectations. What people expect of others and themselves, and what the country expects from the military.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
When a brutal murder occurs on the Marine base in Cuba, a cover-up is revealed to have been engineered by the scheming Colonel Jessup, who's eerily portrayed by Jack Nicholson.
You have the luxury of not knowing what I know. Santiago's death, while tragic, probably saved lives. And my existence, while grotesque and incomprehensible to you, saves lives.
Cruise's character is challenged by his co-counsel, played by Demi Moore, to use the trial to raise questions the military would just as soon leave unasked. But A Few Good Men also points out the need for an armed force that must live by an unbendable code.
I got a different perception about the honor and the pride that they walk around with, what the uniform means, and what they're standing up for.
But co-star and sometime comedian Kevin Pollak came away with another impression of military discipline.
I don't like doing before 9 a.m. what everyone else does in the whole day. I like sleeping up until 9 a.m., so I can't do that.
And now another note.
My friends, I want to tell y'all about a town where the streets are paved with gold. In this town, cats bounce 900 checks, didn't even have to go to jail.
You mean Las Vegas?
No, not Las Vegas.
No, honey, he's talking about Washington, D.C.
You ready for this? I am running for Congress.
I overhear my grandmother talking about how someone got elected to Congress through name association because he had the same name as a congressman. Like, people just go, if they see the name that they've been voting for all the time, they'll just pull a lever, And I think, wow, that's a pretty good con.
And with Eddie Murphy leading this con, it's certain that you're in for some pretty good laughs, too. In The Distinguished Gentleman, Murphy plays a small-time con man who sleazes his way in on the biggest legal game around, Capitol Hill influence peddling. He's shown the ropes by a Washington insider, played by Grant Shod.
I would like to work for you, Congressman Johnson.
So it'd be sort of like an affirmative action sort of thing.
So how did Shod deal with having his scripted lines thrown out the window when working with the infamous stand-up comic?
I think what you need to just know is the structure of the scene, and then kind of hold on for dear life while he takes you where he wants it to go.
And for the film's co-star in Con, Cheryl Lee Ralph, Murphy's fast-talking wit added a lot to the project.
Oh, yes, because he's wonderfully spontaneous. He's a great improviser.
In this Meshuggah world, you gotta vote for Jeff Johnson. I don't know why I gotta come right to here and tell you this. You should know who to vote for. We're voting for Jeff because he's a good person.
A lot of it has to do with his magic. That certain thing that makes him, special, that makes him Eddie.
Plus.
Eddie Murphy's special on-screen antics owe much to the legacy of films from the past called screwball comedies. TNT salutes this heritage with an entire night of 4 of the best, beginning with the granddaddy of them all, It Happened One Night.
Here, hold this a minute.
TNT Gets Screwy, Wednesday, December 23rd, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you think comedies are surefire hits now, in 1934, It Happened One Night's popularity swept the country and the Oscars, winning for Best Picture, Best Screenplay, Best Director, and earning statuettes for each of its stars, Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert.
I asked you a simple question. Do you love her? Yes! But don't hold that against me. I'm a little screwy myself.
That's it for Hollywood Notes.
Thank you.
Thank you.